So let's talk about AI in our schools. Man, the debate is really heating up, right? Is it this incredible new tool for learning, or is it something a little more sinister? Maybe a Trojan horse for big companies? Well, it turns out the answer might really just depend on one thing: who gets to write the rules? So let's dive into that. And wow, this quote from Dr. Velislava Hillman, it just gets right to the heart of what's making everyone so nervous. The fear, and it's a real one, is that our classrooms are slowly being turned into these giant data farms, where the AI isn't really there for the student's growth, but for someone else's bottom line. But what if there's another way? What if we could just flip the script on this whole thing? I mean, instead of just taking whatever tech gets handed to us, what if teachers, what if they were the ones designing the AI, making sure it actually serves their students, not just some company's balance sheet? Now that's an interesting thought. Okay, so to really get why this moment is so important, we actually have to look back, way back. You see, the tension we're all feeling today, it's connected to a model of education that's like over 100 years old. We're standing at this huge crossroads, and we have to decide, do we just bolt this shiny new technology onto a really old system, or do we take this chance to build something totally new? And listen to this quote. I mean, it sounds pretty shocking to us now, right? But this was the actual vision from a top education expert back in 1919. This whole factory mindset, treating kids like raw products to be shaped, it's all about efficiency and control. And that idea has cast a really long shadow. We still see echoes of it today. Which brings us right back to the choice we have to make. On one hand, you've got that old industrial conveyor belt with AI just making it run faster, right? Students as products. But on the other side, you've got something totally different, a human-centered model. It's all about collaboration, creativity, where students are actually co-designers in their own learning. And that's the key thing to remember. The tech itself isn't good or bad. It's all about how we design it, how we choose to use it. So, if we want to make that human-centered idea a reality, well, we can't just cross our fingers and hope for the best. We've got to give teachers a completely new playbook. We're talking new knowledge, new ways of thinking, and the right tools, so they can bring AI into the classroom with confidence and with ethics. And a huge piece of that new playbook is something called TPAIK. Okay, stick with me here. For a long time, educators have used this framework called TPAK. It stands for Technological, Pedagogical, and Content Knowledge. Basically, how to use tech for teaching. But now, the idea is to update it, to add a new letter, AI, Artificial Intelligence Knowledge. Because it's not enough to just use the tech anymore. You've got to really, truly understand it. And this is where it gets really cool. This new framework totally reframes what it means to be a teacher. Content knowledge isn't just about knowing stuff anymore, it's content intelligence, where the teacher and the AI are creating knowledge together. Pedagogical knowledge becomes pedagogical intelligence, because you're designing lessons that work with a conversational AI. And tech knowledge, that's not just about software anymore. It's technological and computational intelligence. The whole point is for teachers to understand how the system thinks, not just how to click the right buttons. Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in a real classroom with real students? Well, let's check out this really fascinating case study that puts all these ideas into practice. So this project, called Voices Across Borders, did something pretty radical. They connected students from New Zealand, China, and Ireland. And they gave them access to what's called a small language model, an SLM. You can kind of think of it as a smaller, more focused AI. But here's the kicker. It wasn't designed to be an answer machine. It was designed to be a thinking partner to help them tackle a big project on sustainability. And they didn't just throw the kids into the deep end. They had this really smart 4-step structure. And get this, the very first step had nothing to do with using the AI. It was all about exploring the ethics of it. Only after that did they start collecting their own data, using the AI to help them sort through it, and then finally reflecting on everything they learned. And this is such a perfect example of designing AI on your own terms. The teachers actually helped set the rules for the AI. So for example, it wasn't allowed to just give them the answers. It could only work with the data the students themselves collected. And instead of acting like an expert, it acted like a curious classmate, asking those classic Socratic questions to make them think deeper. This wasn't a tool to get the work done faster, it was a tool to spark real inquiry. And on top of that, they used this brilliant technique with a great name, the reflection sandwich. It's simple. After every single time they talked to the AI, the students had to stop and ask themselves 3 things. 1. What did the AI help me see? 2. What did it miss? And 3. How can I ask a better, smarter question next time? I mean, talk about building critical AI literacy in real time. So, when you teach like this, what happens? Well, it completely changes the role of the teacher. They're not just the sage on the stage with all the answers anymore. They become a lead learner, a co-explorer, and the chief designer of the whole learning experience. And we've actually got data to back this idea up. There was a study in Slovenia that showed when teachers got specific training on AI, their confidence just skyrocketed. Most went from rating their knowledge as bad or average all the way up to good or very good. And this isn't about turning teachers into coders. It's about building their confidence and skill in how to teach with these new tools. This quote from one of the teachers involved, Maja Visic-Krembonia, just says it all, doesn't it? How can I support my students? I must become a learner myself. To lead kids through this new world, teachers have to be willing to learn too, exploring right there alongside them. So what this is all really pointing to is a huge evolution in the teacher's job description. It's a shift from being the expert on content to being the designer of learning experiences. And yeah, it's about developing AI literacy, but at the same time, and this is so important, it's about doubling down on those uniquely human skills: empathy, real conversation, and just genuine care. And that brings us full circle, right back to where we started. The future of AI in our schools isn't something that's just going to happen to us. It's something we actually have the power to build and shape ourselves. If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. This isn't about being anti-technology. Being ethical isn't about just saying no to everything. It's about having the knowledge and the confidence to say yes, but on our terms. To make absolutely sure that these powerful new tools are being used in a way that lines up with our human values. And I think Dr. Hillman's call to action is the perfect way to wrap this up. This whole conversation is just too important to leave to Silicon Valley investors or policymakers alone. It belongs to all of us, the teachers, the students, the parents, the communities. It's about all of us reclaiming education together. So, as we wrap up, I'm going to turn the question over to you. It doesn't matter if you're a teacher, a student, a parent, or just someone who cares about this stuff. Shaping the future starts with asking good questions. So, what's the first question you're going to ask?